Hey there, network. I'm here, and I've got Stephen Weston with me. So he's a recruiter with Verizon. And Stephen did 20 years plus with the Air Force, and did 13 years as a recruiter. Now he's working with Verizon as SkillBridge recruiter, trying to get people into Verizon as they transition out of the military. Stephen, welcome.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mike. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're going to get into it. And so what I wanted to talk about today, I saw one of your posts a couple days ago, and it talked about cert smashing. The idea that you are getting close to your termination date with whatever branch of service you're with, and you're going out and you're getting all these certifications, but you might not have that experience to back it up. So let's talk about it. Let's just start with that. What do you see from your end as a recruiter?
From my end as a recruiter, we love seeing certifications, but what we also like seeing is the relevant work experience that goes hand in hand with the certification. A lot of the things that I see is that we'll have a transitioning service member that maybe, for example, spent 20 years in aviation maintenance, working on F-16s or a propulsion engineer or something like that. And then, 9 months before they go to get out, all of a sudden, what I called cert smashing, they getting every known cert to man that everybody's told them that they need to get, and also switching careers. So, I've seen folks that were supply chain logistics their entire career, and then 12 months before they get out, they decide they want to be like cybersecurity, and then they go and they're getting like a Sec Plus, Net Plus, they're getting all the CompTIA certifications, to get out and be an analyst. The problem that we see, though, is that most of the associate level roles and higher for analyst positions look for 2 to 3 years hands-on experience to go along with the certifications that we may ask for. So while they have all the certifications, they don't have the relevant work experience needed for an associate level position or above. And so what that does is that it kind of puts them in a spot where now they're kind of like at entry level. For entry-level roles, you don't need to have the relevant experience. The certifications and maybe a degree program will suffice. But then, if you're a 20-year E7 retiring and you want to make the same that you were making as an E7 when you get out, probably not going to get that at entry level. You probably need to be at an associate level or higher. So ways that we can get around that is starting your prep two or 3 years prior to when you're kind of targeting when you want to get out, so that you can start utilizing like nonprofit participation to help build that skill set. For example, for cyber, since we were talking about cyber, are you sandboxing at home? Are you running labs? Are you perfecting writing the scripts? Are you reviewing the job descriptions at companies you want to target and look and see what your talent gaps are, so that you can take some LinkedIn learning, or when you're going through the cert, you need, for example, like Python or Ansible, or maybe some of the other like Linux, Unix. Do you know how to read it? Do you know how to write it? Do you know how to use it? Do you know what it is if you see it? And these are some of the things that if you're applying for roles that will help strengthen you to go along with the certification.
Awesome. I love that. We've talked with Scott Rather, previous posts, and I think probably a 4-part series through branding. And one of the things he recommended was you don't have to know exactly what you want to do when you get out of the military. And you can use some of your military time to volunteer and figure out if that's exactly what you want to do. And it sounds like that's a good segue into this. You can volunteer and you can gain that relevant experience. And also at the same time, figure out if it's truly what you want to do when you get out. And if it's not, really you just spend a couple of hours while you're still getting paid by the military because you're prepping prior to getting out. That's powerful stuff. Now, let me ask you this. Is SkillBridge a way to get some of that relevant experience? Yes or no?
Yes. So SkillBridge, I had a conversation with another transitioning member recently, and, the way it was kind of explained to them what SkillBridge was is that they would take you and train you from scratch and teach everything you need to know. And what I would say is it depends on what you're wanting to do. It depends on what you're targeting. If you're trying to get into a skilled trade like pipe fitting, HVAC repair, plumbing, electrical, something like that, where you're going to go work for an IBEW or a labor union or something like that, a lot of those SkillBridge job placement programs will train you from scratch. You don't need to know how to do it already. They will take you through the entire program and teach you how to be a welder or an HVAC tech or anything like that. There are some SkillBridge opportunities that are entry level. Yes, they will take you in and they will train you from scratch. But some SkillBridge opportunities are not at the entry level and are not skilled trade. And that's where companies that work with third-party entities, for example, like Hiring Our Heroes, that's who I went through. You know, Hiring Our Heroes, to be eligible for the program, you have to meet certain degree requirements because the job opportunities that are going to be presented for SkillBridge are going to be at an associate level or higher, which means they're going to incorporate 2 to 3 years of relevant experience or more for some of these roles. If you're looking at management roles, they're going to maybe want 5 or more years of relevant experience, and you have to be able to show that to go along with any education that you have.
Awesome. And I like that. I like the theme of don't just go out and get a certification and think that that's going to find you the job. There's opportunities throughout our military careers where we can gain that relevant experience. We can gain that hands-on or that technical experience by simply volunteering. The certifications really just show that you have a skill set and somebody's validated.
Yes. I utilize a lot of nonprofits. I've been a VFW member for about 20 years. I've served at just about every post position except commander of a post. I've also been a national aide-de-camp for the National Veterans of Foreign War Commander. And one of the ways that I was able to show relevant experience for the talent acquisition community, not only, you know, as a military recruiter, but outside of the military, was I was able to take a post and utilize my skills to show them how to build a social media program, build a website, how to conduct table setups, how to organize with the community to get involved so you can do table setups. Just how to get out in the community, engage with like chambers of commerce and things like that, that we learned that I was taught how to do, you know, as a military recruiter. I was able to do that for a nonprofit, and therefore I was able to put that on my resume when I was competing for a SkillBridge to show, like, not only did I did this in the service, but I'm also doing this out in the local community too. So I can justify that I have relationship building experience, leadership beyond the military. I know how to collaborate and show that I do have these skills and I know what I'm doing and I'm helping the community with these skills.
Awesome. I love that. I think that that's a pretty good place to cut it for today. You know, the action items that I'm hearing here are go out and find a place where you can put your skills to, where you can grow your skills, really. Find those nonprofits, find those community partners, work and build up your resume the right way. Don't just rely on a certification. The certification is there to certify you that you have those skill sets. So really, it's that prior preparation, that getting ready to transition out, and that idea that it doesn't happen in a 6-month period. It doesn't happen the last 30 days before you walk out the gate. It happens probably a year and a half in advance if you really want to do it correctly. Awesome. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Once again, just thanks for being a voice, help bring some enrichment to our veterans' lives.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate being on. It's a great program that you have.
Thank you.